Sabi sa pag-remind. So, first mechanic guys, export revenue. So, kumikita sila sa pag-export. So, when we say export, meaning to say, for example, yung oil, no? Binibenta nila sa ibang bansa. So, for example, if tumaas yung presyo ng oil, ibinenta nila sa ibang bansa, export sila, they will earn more. Ganun yung mechanics. So, basically, of course, mga nagbibenta ng commodity is mga company. No? So, now, if the company is selling the commodity at the higher prices, once malaki yung kita nila, on the other hand, the government can collect more taxes sa mga company na yon, which is dollar, euro, or yen. So, flowing into their country. So, if that happen, of course, the demand sa currency nila goes up. Ay, nako. Sinusumpong naman ako, guys. So, sorry. So, pangalawa, everyone, yung pangalawang mechanic is trade balance. So, commodity exports often run trade surplus when the price are high. So, more export than import. So, basically, it's trading currency. So, itong ano guys, itong trade surplus na sinasabi, mean to say, they are exporting more, if they're exporting more commodity, like mas madami yung binibenta nila, madami silang supply. So, if they sell, like, sobrang daming volume, of course, ano sila guys, they will benefit more. And ang nagiging result dyan is lumalakas yung currency nila. Pangalawa is investors flow. So, higher commodity prices. So, ang benefit dyan, pag mataas yung commodity price, magiging stronger yung economy. Yung mga foreign investors, magiging attractive sa local asset or sa currency nila because they need their currency. So, madami yung papasok na pera. And of course, pag benefit yung country na yun, so more on bullish siya. So again, yung tatlong mechanic is that export revenue, trade balance, and investor flow. So ito yung isa sa mga tatlong mechanic in order na once yung isang currency are heavily sila tied sa dito. Sa currency is basically once positive lahat ng data dito, I mean sa information na to, we can conclude na bullish ang currency na yun. Okay? So, proceed guys. And next. So, first currency na heavily dependent sa commodity is yung CAD, which is yung Canadian dollar. So, again, they are linked to oil. So, Canadian, yung Canada is basically one of the leading exporter din ng oil, no? So, na-export sila ng crude oil. When we say crude oil, yung pinakalangis talaga na, ano pa, yung raw pa raw like, yung black, nakikita yung oil na black, yung color black. So, yun yung ina-export nila. Now, itong Canadian dollar guys, basically, their economy is heavily dependent sa oil. And isa sila sa mga member ng tawag dito sa like aside from Saudi, US, Venezuela, Canada is one of the leading exporter when it comes sa oil. So, once mataas yung oil, especially right now, no? So, nagkaroon ng giyera sa Iran. So, tumaas yung oil price. So, umabot natin $80 per barrel yung oil right now, no? So, if tataas yung oil price, nagbe-benefit yung Canadian dollar. So, aside sa WTI crude oil na tinitrade, yung currency, pwede nyo rin tignan si Canadian dollar. So, for example, nabalitaan nyo na for example, nagkaroon ng another war, geopolitics, or even sa mga local news, GMA, ABS-CBN, na tumaas na naman yung presyo ng oil. So, from here, punta kayo sa, I'm sure there's a lot of news outlet na mabibigay ng update in regards sa price ng oil. So, or especially, if merong breaking news na, for example, US attack Iran, breaking news, ganun. So, matik na yan na yung oil price is aakyat. So, ikaw as a trader, if you are planning to trade Canadian dollar, for example, mag-trade ka, let's say, CAD, CHF, for example lang, look for what? Buying position. If mag-trade ka kay CAD, no? Ito guys, tricky itong part na to. Pag USD CAD. Kasi again, CAD and US dollar guys is one of the exporters sa oil. Sometimes guys, usually pag ganun yung situation, ang nangyayari dito is that yung news in regards sa oil is basically hindi siya nagmamatter in a sense. More like, ano pa yung another factor na magkukos na sino yung stronger sa dalawa. Like for example, mataas yung presyo ng oil. Both countries benefits sa price ng presyo ng oil. However, there's another news supporting the dollar. Let's say, mayroong news sa CPI. Positive news sa CPI. Since merong another news supporting the bullish of US dollar, so mangyari dyan, sa trend ng USD, look for buying opportunity. Kasi pag wala supporting fundamental news, more likely itong news na mataas ang presyo ng oil, it could result to sideways. Kumbaga indecisive yung market. Kumbaga hindi alam ng market right now saan napunta. Or it could be in comparison na lang kung sino yung mas malakas na economy right now. Are US are doing well? Let's say, pagtingin mo sa Canada, overall pala, bagsak yung economy ng Canada. So, doon nagkakatalo-talo ang ano. No? So, now, sa ano guys, isa pa, pag natinig kayo ng WTI, no, sa crude oil guys, wala na, focus na kayo sa buying. So, any retracement sa market guys is a buying opportunity. No, kahit mag-retrace pa yan na sobrang laki guys, pag alam nyo na wala pang ceasefire or walang trade talks na, di ba kamakailan, I'm not sure if you are following sa mga news, pero di ba, before nag-strike yung US sa Iran, meron silang peace talks, di ba? So for example, everyone, let's say, another breaking news, Iran and US, nagkaroon ng another peace talks, and nagkaroon ng ceasefire in regards sa pagbomba sa Iran or could be yung Iran nag-stop din ng bomba kasi may ceasefire. Usually guys, the moment na nangyayari yon, ang nangyayari is nagkakaroon ng another big retracement yung oil. Kasi at the moment, walang reason bakit si oil aakyat continuously kasi nga nagkaroon ng peace talks. No, so babagsak ang presyo ng oil, yung commodity ng oil, pag merong peace talks na nangyayari. So ganyan siya kasi, di ba, take note, the moment nagkaroon ng war, yung Strait of Hormuz, mag-close yan. And guys, mind you, yung Strait of Hormuz, why is very important? Kasi yung trade route na yan is controls 20% ng oil sa global market. Okay? So that's why, especially sa Southeast Asia, sa tawag ito, sa ibang country guys, is ano siya, walang access sa oil, walang supply. No? So, 20% yung, sobrang laki na billion of dollars guys every single day ang dumadaan sa Strait of Hormuz. So every single time na nagko-close yan, kasi guys, ang labanan kasi when it comes sa oil kasi is basic supply and demand lang. So di ba, for example, if okay lahat, walang gera, yung Strait of Hormuz is open, so there is so much supply in the market. And take note, if there is too much supply, automatic guys na yung prices, no, babagsak yan. However, if nagkaroon ng war, ng geopolitics war, nag-close yung Strait of Hormuz, take note, diba, on a day-to-day basis, yung oil, sobra laki guys na ginagamit na oil. As in lahat, even sa clothing guys, even sa clothing na meron tayo, may oil yan. Kasi take note, yung mga manufacturer, yung industry, lahat as in it's run from oil. No? So there's a lot of important products na being produced sa oil. So that's why once the supply is being affected, automatic guys, demand is will surge. Aakyat na sobra kasi lahat ng tao sa buong mundo need ng oil. Okay? So ganyan siya. In automatic, prices are going up. So again, Canadian dollar guys, remember, isa sa mga commodity currency. So the moment na may nalaman kayo ng news in regards sa oil, think about CAD. If you are not reading the WTI crude oil, Canadian dollar. Okay? So ganyan siya. So pangalawa dito everyone is Australian dollar. So they are linked to iron ore and coal and gold. So si Australia guys, isa sa mga exporter ng massive this one. And yung pinaka number one guys na na buyer nila is si China. So Australia export massive resources in China. So sometimes guys, ang nangyayari kasi, especially if meron kayo nabalitaan na positive news sa China, positive news related sa yuan, no? Sa Chinese yuan, nag-a-appreciate guys yung Australian dollar. Kasi once ang China is for example, China, economy is growing yung economy. Of course guys, if growing yung economy ng China, they can buy more. No, they can buy more sa alin? Sa Australia. So if yung since if they can buy more sa Australia, then basically yung country ng Australia kasi yung AUD kumbaga yung currency, aakyat din yan. So they are highly correlated yung China at Australia for some reason kasi nga ito yung mga important no na mga resources that China needs sa Australia. So nagbe-benefit ang dalawa. So meron silang peaceful kumbaga yung nila yung relationship, no? So especially right now, 'di ba, kung if you try to look sa 'di ba? You try to go to Google, 'di ba? Sino yung pinakamalalakas na country right now? Top 2 or top 3, China 'yan, no? First US, usually China, Russia, sila yung laban-laban. So top 2, top 3, diyan na yung hindi yan mahulog yung China sa below top 5. So powerful country sa buong mundo right now. So take note, 'di ba? They are like on par with the US, no? The China only have the authority na kayang makipagsabayan sa US, especially sa army nila, sa global manufacturing kasi yung China kasi yung literal na na yung country na puro manufacturer yan. So lahat ng mga product sa Shopee, no, na binibili natin sa Amazon, no, from China yan. Majority ng mga supplier China yan galing. So if yung Chinese economy are booming, no, or especially even the real estates, no, and tataas guys yung demand for iron ore, AUD or Australian dollar is akyat. So now, given by this situation guys, so yung Australian dollar is another commodity currency. No? Hindi siya like normal currency lang but commodity. Kasi majority of the tawag dito, yung economy ng Australia are tied up sa mga commodity which is yung iron, ore, coal, and gold. So dito guys, pangatlo, New Zealand. So again, nung nagkaroon po ba ng trade war noon sa China at US, lumakas po ba ang AUD or US? Ay, sa sir, nung nagkaroon, ang kasi dito guys, ganito siya. No? So, di ba earlier na-mention ko yung risk on? Okay, di ba risk on? Tapos risk off. I'll explain it further. Okay, so risk off. Okay, now, ang kasi guys, dito sa risk off everyone, basically, there are 4 currencies na meron dito. First, USD. Pangalawa, gold. CHF or the Swiss franc. And the Japanese yen. So, ang tawag sa apat na currency nito everyone is safe haven. So when we say safe haven, guys, basically, ito yung mga currency na nag-a-appreciate during nagkakaroon ng recession, nagkakaroon ng economic decline, nagkakaroon ng war, nagkakaroon ng global, let's say, nagkakaroon ng global epidemic, let's say. So, guys, pag there is a massive uncertainty, guys, sa global, dito na pupunta, guys, majority ng pera. Kasi, again, yung mga institution, guys, yung mga investors, takot sila, no, na to risk their money. So, ito yung mga asset na or currency na nag-appreciate during sa war, during sa gera ng Iran na war, during sa let's say yung COVID, again, dito rin nag-appreciate ito mga currency na to. And even guys, sa mga nagkakaroon ng recession or any economic turmoil. So first things first guys, bakit si US dollar is the risk of asset? Kasi guys, take note, US dollar guys is a global currency. Halos lahat ng country sa buong mundo gumagamit ng dollar or may access sa dollar. Kumbaga parang silang mother of all currency. At the same time guys, take note, di ba, ang US is one of the most powerful country. No? So ang nangyari kasi dito guys is everybody, kumbaga, halos lahat ng currency right now are tied up sa USD. No? So, and majority of guys, transactions nangyari is US dollar. So sobrang lakas guys ng USD when it comes during sa mga economic crisis. No? And at the same time guys, especially pag mataas yung interest rate ng USD, mas prefer ito investan ng mga institutions rather than sa ibang country. No, at the same time, guys, isa rin ang USD sa pinaka-stable somehow no na currency. And di ba kung mapapansin niyo right na sobrang especially no sa conversion PHP to dollar, sobrang strong ng USD ng dollar. So that's why guys, isa sa mga risk of asset. Pangalawa guys, si gold. So si gold is basically risk off siya kasi during sa war nag-appreciate din siya. At the same time, although kayo may mga factors kasi diba if nandito ka kay XAU USD, syempre dalawa yan naglaban-laban eh. So merong other factor dyan. That's why they are intercorrelated with hindi sila correlated with one another kung mag-opposite yung nangyayari sa kanila. So si gold everyone is basically hedge siya against inflation. Okay, so take note for example lang, bakit siya hedge against inflation? Okay? Si gold, ang nature niya is hedge against inflation. So, di ba again, yung inflation is number one enemy ng Federal Reserve, right? Kasi nga, ano ba yung pinaka-nature ng inflation? Yung purchasing power natin is kinakain ng inflation. So, ang nangyayari dito, for example, if you have 10,000 pesos, let's say way back 2010, no, 2010, meron kang 10,000. Ang first 10,000 mo nilagay, first 10,000 mo nilagay mo sa gold. Ang another 10,000 mo nilagay mo sa bangko. 2010. And right now, we are 2026. So, 16 years. So, what do you think will happen sa pera? Probably yung 10,000 mo, 10,000 pa din. Kasi magkano lang naman yung interest rate ng bangko? 0.5%, 1% annually. Sobrang baba lang. Or it could be mas mababa pa, 0.3. However, tingnan nyo guys si gold. So probably yung 10,000 mo sa gold way back 2010, it would be 50,000 na yan, 100,000 na yan. Kasi sobrang baba pa ng per gram ng gold, right? So that's why guys, si gold, yung 10,000 mo na invest mo sa bank or nilagay mo sa bank 2010, probably it could be naging 10,500 lang yan, 11,000 lang yan, let's say, for 16 years ha. However, si gold, it could be 50,000 na yan, 100,000 na yan. So, sa risk of asset guys, si gold isa sa takbuhan ng mga investors. So, they will park their money sa gold rather than holding a fiat currency. So, that's why belongs si gold sa risk of asset. Now, ito guys, si CHF, basically, or the Swiss francs, no? Is ito sa yung country guys na na tawag dito, Switzerland. Sila yung pinaka-neutral, kumbaga like, during World War I, during World War II, they are not participating sa war like wala silang kinakampihan. Basically, they are the most neutral country in the world. No? So, sobrang neutral nila, guys. And that's why, guys, isa sa mga bangko, guys, ng Switzerland is one of the most trusted bank in the world. No? Kasi, guys, lahat ng mga tons of gold ng mga other country, guys, basically nakalagay dito. Kasi, during sa ano, guys, like for example, magkaroon ng World War III, siyempre guys, merong mga looting nangyayari dyan, like kukunin ng gold, mga resources sa ano, sa isang bansa. Pero sa Swiss franc guys, hindi basta-basta kasi hindi sila nagpagpanik anybody, they are neutral. Walang, kumbaga, parang walang backer dito, like, kung client lang, parang ganun ba? So, Swiss franc is basically isa sa mga ano, one of the most trusted banks sa buong mundo. At the same time guys, one of the richest, no, sa ano, yung country ng Switzerland. So, that's why itong Swiss franc ng CHF is isa sa mga safe haven kasi sobrang neutral niya guys sa when it comes sa mga war. So, investors, they are more likely put their money sa CHF kasi nga sobrang safe, hindi sila magkakaproblema. So, that's why isa sa kumbaga nag-grow or nagiging bullish during sa economic crisis. Ito guys, ang Japanese yen or the JPY, bakit siya naging safe haven? As due to 0% interest rate ng Japanese yen. As in 0% interest rate. So kung uutang ka, wala kang babayarang interest rate. So, merong nangyayari dito guys, ang ginagawa ng mga ano guys, big players dito. Basically, meron tinatawag na carry trade. Okay? So, meron tinatawag na carry trade. So, ang gagawin nila, for example, iba, a Japanese yen offers 0% interest rate. So, institution, they will borrow, uutang sila sa Japanese government or sa Bank of Japan, uutang sila. Tapos, ilalagay nila yung inutang nila, let's say, sa mga asset that it could be, nagkakaroon ng yield at least 1%, 2%, 3% ng mga investment. Kasi imagine, if umutang ako ng 1 million dito, walang interest, in-invest ko sa isang asset classes na nagbibigay ng 1%, 2%, it's literally free money. But the problem lang dito guys is basically, once negative yung entry mo or yung investment mo, of course, that's a worse kasi nga may utang ka. But the idea is, if literal na tama yung conviction mo sa isang investment, and you are paying 0% interest rate sa Japanese yen, literal, paldo ka. Literally, it's a free money. Of course, guys, it's not easy no, na mag-loan. So, yung mga big institution lang yung may kakayahan to kumbaga, merong access, kumbaga. Of course, as a normal individual, mahirapan tayo dito. Not unless you have a company, na trustworthy company, or it could be, you are a person of important, no? Like, you're a millionaire, let's say, na legit talaga yung source of income mo. So, that's another scenario. But for a normal person, of course, no, hindi siya basta-basta din. So, itong carry trade, guys, basically, nangyayari to, na kumbaga, tinitake advantage yung 0% interest rate ng Japan, and in-invest ka, for example, umutang sa Japan, i-invest sa Australia, i-invest sa US, i-invest mo asan man yung mga asset classes na merong higher than 0% na interest rate. 1% man yan, 2% man yan, 3%. So, that's why guys, sa Japanese yen, isa ito sa mga takbuhan ng mga investors during sa economic crisis kasi they can borrow money here and invest into asset classes na wherein pwede sila mag-benefit. Okay? So, klaro ba? So sa ano guys, sa risk on naman, is ito yung mga asset classes na nag-appreciate guys pag walang gera. Like more like bullish to sila. So, lahat ng mga currency pair na tinitrade natin na hindi involved si dollar. So, Euro, AUD, GBP, NZD, CAD, i-trade ka ng crypto, Bitcoin, all of the cryptocurrency, stock market. No, yun yung mga risk asset. So, if yung status ng economy right now is risk on, basically, ito yung mga classes guys na nagiging bullish. Bullish na sila. So, given the context, like for example, overall sa global market or global news, wala masyadong mga gera na like literal peaceful. So, and at the same time guys, especially if yung economy nila is performing well, or more likely, merong negative news sa dollar, nagbibigay ito guys ng big trend which is to uptrend, no? So, ayun yung isa sa mga ano dito, sa risk on market. So, klaro ba? Question, clarification everyone. Thank you guys. Sobrang lakas na ulan. No, sobrang lakas na ulan. So, I'm not sure if narinig nyo guys. So, may bagyo kasi. So, ayun lang. So, next is, dito. So, ito kay example, okay? Sabi dito, last month daw, yung price ng oil, $60. No? $60 lang. Suddenly, nag-shoot up to 90. Kasi merong war na nangyari sa Middle East. Oh, from 60 to naging 90. So, of course, guys, yung Canada, happy because they can sell oil at the higher price. So, literally, Canada, bullish. A lot of money starts flowing in Canada. Kasi take note, guys, yung mga currency na bumibili sa Canada, they will convert their money to dollar din. Ay, to Canadian dollar. No, they are buying more Canadian dollar, which is what? Makes the CAD stronger. No? So, that's why USD CAD goes down because the CAD is strengthening. Bakit bumabagsak ang USD CAD? Kasi CAD is strengthening. So, usually, guys, pag tumataas yung presyo ng oil, USD CAD is most of the time, bumabagsak siya. Kasi nagiging stronger si CAD in comparison to the USD. No? So may mga tendency na ganyan. So another situation naman, last month, yung price ng iron ore was $100 per ton. Suddenly, it jumped to 140 kasi nga China, nag-announce ng stimulus for construction project. So itong stimulus guys, basically, parang another money na in-inject, for example, China, ako si yung president, Xi Jinping. So, for example, sa national budget ng China, sabi natin meron akong 1 trillion, for example. So, yung 1 trillion Chinese yuan, i-inject ko yan sa real estate market para mag-build ng mga bagong projects sa mga construction. So, of course, guys, itong mga construction project, guys, it requires what? Iron ore, kasi nga, is part of the building the tawag ito yung mga guys, yung mga real estate, yung mga houses, buildings, tawag ito, and subdivision, let's say. So, in regards sa part na yan, Australia is happy because they are earning more from exporting iron ore. So, basically, since China right now is booming yung yung construction industry. So, happy si Australia kasi nga, China will buy more resources sa kanila. So, AUD is basically bullish. No, bullish. So, a lot of foreign companies need to buy iron ore from Australia. So to buy it, they need Australian dollars. So ito guys itself, for example, this one. 1 trillion Chinese yuan converts to AUD. Which is what add-on sa idea na magiging stronger ang Australian dollar. So bullish sa AUD. So that's why AUD USD goes up because the Australian dollar is strengthening. So most of the time guys, if you are trading the AUD USD, you need to check as well the status of the economy sa China. If China is doing well, especially itong mga construction projects nila. Mga real estate projects, so kasi ano yun, yes, pinaka-logic dyan is yung Australian dollar, they will benefit kasi ano sila guys, tawag dito, kumbaga, suki ni Australia si China when it comes to natural resources. So ganyan siya. Okay, so I hope it clears, no? So again, another one, this one naman, price of milk powder, which is another commodity guys. So $3,000 per ton. Suddenly it went to $360 per ton because of drought in another dairy producing countries. So ito guys, basically, pag merong problema sa dairy products guys, for example, sa China, nagkaroon ng problem sa dairy nila, yung amount of supply, no? So si New Zealand guys, isa sa mga number 1 supplier ng mga dairy products. Kasi isa lang yun sa mga top export nila sa when it comes sa ano. So that's why, di ba, especially pag yung mga Pilipino, di ba, sa Australia, sa New Zealand, one of their top jobs is basically guys, doon sila sa farm ng mga cow. So doon sila nagwo-work yung mga Pilipino. Kasi guys, so kumbaga sa dairy farm kumbaga. Kasi ayun nga, dairy farm industry sa New Zealand, everyone, is one of the biggest, ano guys, kasi they are exporting it, and especially guys, yung mga Wagyu beef, isa din sa New Zealand yan. So, sa commodity wise, sa mga dairy products guys, basically, New Zealand is ano siya. So, if merong problem o mga news related sa dairy products, NZD/USD is usually going up. So that's one thing everyone na we need to understand. Okay? So yun siya. So let's go to forward. So ito guys, to simplify things, no? So good China data. Pag positive yung data sa China, commodity price increase, AUD in NCD guys nagbi-benefits. So sometimes sa Forex Factory, di ba, may mga news in related sa China. So if you are trying to trade AUD in NZD, please look forward sa any news right now, any news related sa China. So bad China data, commodity price go down, AUD go down din. So ito example, China cuts interest rates, construction increases, more iron on demand and AUD. So this one guys, bakit? Ito let's dissect this one. At China nag-cut sila ng interest rate. Sasabihin natin from 2% to 1% na lang. Construction increases. Bakit mag-increase yung construction? Kasi guys, take note, since nag-cut ng interest rate from 2% to 1%, mababa yung borrowing cost. So if a lot of construction company, uutang sila sa bangko ng China, since nag-cut ng interest rate ng China, sobrang cheap, sobrang baba ng interest rate na babayaran nila. So makakautang sila, they have to acquire more money. And if they acquire more money, of course, they have money to spend to buy more iron ore sa Australia. So, ayun siya. So, that's why every single time na ano siya, na nag-cut na interest China, nagbi-benefit masyado si AUD. Kasi nga, nagbo-boom yung ano nila, yung industry o yung economy. Ganyan siya nagwo-work. Okay? So, this one naman everyone, this one example guys. So, actual news kumbaga. So, June 2025, ang daw nag-stronger, no? Amid rising oil prices. So, yung tumaas yung presyo ng mga oil guys, again, no? So, tumaas siya ng 3.8% to 70.78 per barrel due to escalating geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. So, ang impact sa CAD, aakyat CAD against the USD as higher oil prices boosted Canada export revenue. So, ito yung actual news guys. So, kung mababasa nyo sa news, please understand well what it means. So, for you to dissect. So, moreover, ang pinaka-ano dito guys, pinaka-bottom line is, ito na yung rising oil prices. Babasa mo lang yan, alam mo na ano yung next. Look for buying opportunity. Again, take note, hindi like buy ka agad look for buying. Saan yung pinaka-area sa market? Ano yung mga key level sa market na best? So, of course, if yung market is ganito, for example, ganyan, of course, hindi ka mag-buy at the top. Wait for retracement sa market or saan man yung discount niya. Buy at the bottom para in case of the market goes up, buy ka, mas malaki yung profit mo na makukuha. Okay? So, ganyan siya. Another example dito, April 2025, oil production in Newfoundland and Labrador rose by 18% compared to December 2023, reaching 7.5 million barrels. So, again guys, take note, the more na higher yung oil production, it will enhance export revenue. So, ito yung mga example everyone sa news. So, itong ano to guys, itong production daw sa Newfoundland and Labrador, itong mga company na to, tumaas daw ng 18%, no? So, which is nag-reach na ng 7.5 million barrel. So, although wala naka-indicate per day, but at the same time, it's telling us na tumaas yung supply. So, ano yung potential impact dito? Higher oil production could enhance export revenue. Kasi, if they can export more oil, sobrang daming supply, they will earn money. So, imagine if ito yung price ng oil, 70.78. Tapos, they have 7.5 million barrels to, para ano guys, para ibenta. Automatic guys, revenue, no, tumaas and potentially, lalakas ang CAD, depende on the global oil demand and prices. So yung ano guys, so usually, if you're trading the USD CAD, time to time, you need to know ano yung nangyari sa oil right now. Hindi ka lang puro dollar. No? Kasi nga, again, Canadian dollar is heavily correlated niya sa oil. Kasi nga, commodity currency siya. So, isa yan sa mga factor na you need to look out when it comes trading sa market. So, again, we discussed this one already. So, Australian dollar is a major gold producer din. No? So, AUD-USD often moves in tandem with gold price. So, pag tumataas si gold, guys, no? AUD usually tumataas din. Pag bagsak si gold, usually, for some reason, si AUD, the Australian dollar, bumabagsak din siya. Kasi nga, they are highly correlated sa gold. Kasi ano yung key points dito? Australia is a major gold producer. Okay? So, pangalawa is an NZD. So, as a New Zealand is a major dairy exporter, dairy prices can influence the NZD. So, pag tumaas yung presyo ng mga dairy products, NZD will benefit and aakyat yung price ng dollar, ay ng NZD. So, bullish. However, pag bumagsak yung presyo ng mga dairy product, babagsak din sa NZD. Okay? So far ba naintindihan? Type 1, everyone. Naintindihan ba so far? Or baka may questions? Please let me know. Clarification, sir. Kaya pag nag-cut po ang China interest rate, puminili po ba? No, sir, opposite. Lumalakas si EUD. Lumalakas si EUD. Bakit? Ganito siya. So, explain ko again na, Sir Harvey. So, for example, China. Okay, China. Nag-cut daw ng interest rates. Nag-cut. Since nag-cut ang interest rate ng China, ipuutang yung mga company sa mga construction-related company, utang sila China. Let's say, yung hindi pa nag-cut ng interest rate ng China, 2%. So, ipuutang ako, for example, ako yung construction company ako, ipuutang ako lang 1 million yuan, Chinese yuan. Ito yung interest rate na babayaran ko. However, if nag-cut ang China ng interest rate, sabihin nila 1% na lang. So, this is more attractive. So, kumbaga, kung hindi ako umutang at 2%, tapos nag-cut ang China ng 1%, uutang ako as a construction. Now, if makakautang ako ng 1 million yuan at the 1% interest rate, now I have money. If meron akong pera, ibibili ko ito ng mga iron ore, ibibili ko ito ng mga natural resources sa Australian dollar. And basically, nangyayari, since there is money incoming sa AUD due to pag-cut ng interest rate ng China, Australian dollar will go up. AUD will go up. So, to clarify sa question mo, Sir Harvey, pag nag-cut ang interest rate ng China, lumalakas po. Lumalakas po si AUD. Bakit? Kasi nga, there is a money inflow na papasok sa Australian dollar. So, I hope it clear, Sir Harvey. So, another question? How about Sir John? May question, sir? Or if wala, everyone type 1. So, again, guys, habang kayo may, please, kasi, para ma-address natin right away, no? So, ayan, guys, thank you. So, proceed tayo sa next. So, ito naman, guys, equities. Okay? So, equities intermarket analysis. So, ano ba itong mga equities na to? So equities guys, it refers sa mga stocks. Stock market. Wait guys, biglang nawala yung net. Wait no. So balik tayo. Okay, so this one, equities. So everyone ba may idea ba ano yung stock market? Everyone, type 1 if may idea. Ano yung stock market? How ba Sir John? Okay, thanks. So di ba, owning a stock market is, so for example, if na-invest sa stock market, you are now a what? A shareholder. You own a piece of the company. Right? So for example, in a Jollibee, if na-invest ako, bumili ako ng stocks ng Jollibee, for example, no? So I am a shareholder now of the, kasi I own a piece of the Jollibee company. So, anong in-relate ng equities, guys? Yung sa market, everyone. So usually, guys, di ba, yung term is, pag nababasa nyo sa headline, is either sa post sa social media, sa YouTube content, sa Twitter, for example, or TikTok man yan, no? If yung headline is equities are up, they mean the stock market are rising. So yung S&P 500, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq, is ito yung ito yung mga equities. So S&P 500 is 500 biggest companies in the US, no, for example lang. So ito guys, sa pag tumataas ang presyo ng stock market o yung equities guys, is basically ginagamit kasi guys yung yung tawag dito. 'Di ba? Yung idea is that na-discuss ko na yung risk on and risk off. But of course, although may idea ka sa risk on and risk off, pero alam mo yung data na titingnan mo, alam mo yung like, cause how would I know na risk on pala yung market right now? How would I know? Although, may indication na yung magira, but is there a specific data na I need to look for para malaman ko talaga na risk on talaga yung market or risk off yung market right now? So ito guys, equity, easy to siya. The ultimate risk thermometer, no? So here's why. So stock shows whether investors are feeling. So greedy, no? When we say risk on guys, greedy yung investors. They are not afraid. Pag risk off guys, scared. So again guys, pag nabalitaan natin that the equities are going up, they are pumping this one right here, risk on buys. So investors are confident to risk their money sa mga risk asset. However, pag nabalitaan natin that the market or the stock market, yung equities is bumabagsak. Basically, risk off yan. No? So, by simply understanding and knowing the equities, isa ito sa mga barometer, kumbaga, na wherein to identify if risk on, risk off. Kasi, take note, let's say, for example, di ba, let's say, walang gera. Peaceful ang mundo. So, how would I know on a day-to-day basis or weekly basis if meron bang risk on ba yung market? Risk off ba? So, by simply knowing the equities or the stock market, you can assess, okay, so, equities right now are going up. Okay, so the market sentiment, the narrative will be risk on. Pag bumagsak ang stock market, bumagsak ang equity, risk off. Okay, so parang ganun yung nangyari. Basic as that. No, so ito guys, for example, tawag ito. This one. This data right here, for example, no, kita nyo US 30, Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq. No, this one right here, bullish, the green. Green yung mga result. No, for example lang. So, by knowing guys, na all of the stock equities are going up, it's telling you right away that the market right now is risk on. So, usually, yung mga Euro USD, AUD USD, yung mga risk asset, Bitcoin, the stock market itself is bullish. So, your job now as a trader, okay, so the market right now is risk on. Now, if pagtingin mo sa Euro USD, meron ka nakitang buying opportunity, you can use this simple dito, confluence to support your Euro USD technical analysis buying. Kasi alam mo sa sarili mo that right now is risk on yung market. So higher probability that the Euro USD guys will bullish. As long as walang fundamental nyo, kasi for example, merong positive news sa USD. Despite sa idea na risk on ang market, of course guys, Euro USD could potentially drop. Pero sabihin natin walang news sa USD. Wala ring news sa Euro. Like, walang mga major news, kumbaga, like, wala yung mga immediate impact na when I say earlier. So, by simply understanding what's the sentiment of the market right now, risk on ba or risk off, it can gives you another confluence to your conviction sa market. So, isa yan sa mga tawag dito, na pwede yung magamit para meron kayong conviction. So, at least, sa part mo, confident ka sa idea na, okay, so ipag-buy ako right now, tapos yung market is risk on pala, okay lang. Although, of course, guys, it doesn't eliminate the risk. Alam naman natin, in trading always has the risk. But again, guys, the idea is, if you have enough data to support your conviction or your technical analysis, mas hindi ka takot sa market. You are confident. No? So, again, once you assess that, after that, na siya? Manage your risk right away. So, lagay ka ng predetermined SL or TP. So, let's say, SL mo 50 pips, TP mo 150 pips. Parang ganun siya. So, add-on conviction yan sa part mo. Para at least, you are not trading blindly. Okay? So, this one guys, itong itong dollar index here or DXY. No? So, this one right here guys, especially Sir Jan, let's say Sir Jan, kaya trade di ba, sabi mo Sir Jan, nag-trade niya kay gold, right? XAUSD. So, ito sir, ang ganito siya. Ito si dollar index, no? DXY, is pwede mo siyang gamitin as, for example, based sa analysis mo sa XAUSD. Nandiyan ka XAUSD. Sabihin natin, based sa technical perspective mo, point of view mo sa technical, pasok yung buy. Gusto mo buy entry. So, pagtingin mo sa DXY or dollar index, once negative yun, sir, mean to say, bullish gold. Bakit? Ganito siya. If yung DXY is tumaas, gold will drop. Bagsak si gold. On the other hand, if yung DXY or yung dollar index bagsak, gold will bullish. Opposite sila. So, again, basic example dito, for example lang, no? Pag tingin mo sa dollar index, uy, bagsak ang dollar index right now. Tapos, you are trading gold. So, if nakikita ka ng buying opportunity sa gold, meron kang conviction na, okay, so overall, the market is mayroong higher probability that the gold today will go up. Aakyat si gold. So, of course, hindi ka nang buy kaagad. Dapat align siya sa technical analysis mo. So, always siya opposite. So, for example, wait lang. Punta tayo saglit sa I'm not sure if makaka-loading si si TradingView. Wait lang guys. So, punta tayo saglit sa TradingView. Loading masyado guys. Malakas kasing ulan right now. So, doon kasi guys sa TradingView, punta ka doon Sir John for example or Sir Harvey. Type nyo sa TradingView DXY. DXY, DXY. So, for example, let's say, since yung DXY kasi guys, meron siyang chart, same sa gold. Yes, if negative yung DXY, kung mapapansin nyo, di ba sa gold is overall pumping siya. So, isa sa mga ano guys, isa sa mga ito, pwede yung tingnan, no, na na idea. So, opposite sila, again, DXY or the dollar index, DXY, if ano yan, bullish yan, gold will drop. If again, of opposite, if yung DXY is bagsak, gold will go up. So, this data right here are separate. So, if nag-trade sa Euro USD, yung mga risk asset, of course, pwede mo siyang tingnan dito. Okay, so, ito guys, risk on scenario. No, so this one, how equities connect to Forex. First scenario, stocks going up. Investors feel good. So they are willing to buy risky asset. AUD USD up. NZD USD up. USD JPY up. Because JPY weakens when risk on. Take note guys, itong USD JPY, although both of these currency are tawag dito, risk of asset or safe haven asset. But considering that the US dollar guys is one of the major currency na ginagamit, bullish siya. So this one, risk of scenario, bumagsak yung stock market, nagpanic, safe haven asset nagpa-pump. US dollar up, JPY up. So, trade niya kaya EUD, sell. Pag risk off, Euro USD, look for selling opportunity. So, down to down. CHF up. Kasi nga mga safe haven assets din sila. Okay, so, by simply understanding this everyone, no, it gives you a clear data on how would you assess your trade. So, kung before, kumbaga confused ka, ano yung nangyayari right now? Like, based on news, ganito, ganito. Tapos, hindi mo siya alam paano siya i-apply logically sa Forex. So, by simply understanding this one, it gives you a bigger picture kung paano ka papasok sa market and based sa information na to, paano mo siya magagamit. So, when you try to understand fundamental analysis, literally, it will open another world sa part mo. Kumbaga, you view the market differently na. Hindi puro chart. And you wonder na, bakit talo? Like, few months na, sunog pa din. So, mga ganong moment, diba, sometimes, sa journey natin, may questions if we still need to go, continue, no? So, yung conviction mo andyan, but for some reason, there's lacking. However, the difference na kasi is, malaki ang huge ang difference sa informed traders sa uninformed. No? So, if a normal trader doesn't have any idea sa fundamental, literal ta guys na, di won't last long. Pwedeng profitable sila this month, but by 6 months trading, are they sure na kaya nila mag-survive 6 months? Not necessarily na patalo, but more on ano siya, tawag dito. Hindi ka confused ba? So, ganun yung nangyari dito. Okay? So, ito guys, this one. This is another tricky part. So, why should care as forex trader? Okay? So, typical trader, mga retail mindset. Okay? So, Euro USD, candle looks bullish. Maybe I'll buy. So, guess what? Random guess. Pero ikaw as an intermarket trader na with knowledge full sa fundamental, wait, di ba? Yung mindset mo ganito, it thinks like this. Kung magaganito yung thought process mo na. Kung before, if wala kang idea sa fundamental or hindi mo feel yung fundamental, sobrang basic lang yung thinking mo. Like, ganito siya. Pero, pag meron yung idea, wait, so, US FPI was lower than expected today. Yields dropped from 4.30 to 4.20. Stocks are rising. US dollar is getting weaker. So, Euro USD might go up. No? Because, again, lower yields, less USD strength. Risk on yung market, people buying euro. So, better trade idea, buy euro USD. So, yung USCPI was lower daw. Lower siya, no? Babagsak yung USCPI. Tapos, at the same time, yung stock market, pricing, minutes ay risk on. So, if trade ka euro, look more bullish. Better trade idea, buy euro USD. Again, hindi right away buy. Align with it with your technical. Same with the USD JPY. So, USD JPY broke support ISL. So, ganun siya. Hold up. The US 10 yield drops from 4.30 to 4.10. Japanese stock market drop. No? Risk of sentiment rising. So, people running to JPY. So, lower yields, weaker USD, JPY strength. So, better idea, sell USD JPY. So, sa mga ganitong situation, guys, basically, ano na siya, tawag dito? Ano ka, you are informed trader. Okay, so another anecdote dito, guys, because money is like water, it flows so it feels safest and gives the best return. So, ano po ang stock market ng JPY? Actually, sir, tawag dito? Kalimutan ko yung exact name. But sa Sir John, is more likely, ako, sir, personally, I not visiting yung stock market talaga. But naka-base ako sa news. So, more likely, guys, dito ako tumitingin. Sa investing.com. So, nandito yung investing.com, ito yung tawag dito. Ito yung mga equities. Okay? So, this one. So, dito ako tumitingin. Hindi ako indirectly papunta talaga sa stock market ng Japan. But, again, this one right here. So, ito guys, this one. Ito yung data. So, risk on yung market, no? Dollar index is drop. So, alam mo, dollar index is drop. Okay, gold. Look for buy opportunity. S&P 500 bullish. Risk on yung market, guys. Ganito. Basta green yan. So, and dito guys, sa investing.com, punta ka dito sa news. Kung pwede ka punta dito sa stock market, if titinin mo yung sa stock markets related, sa equities. Tapos, dito guys, sa tawag sa news, currencies, click mo yung currency. So, ito na yung mga news dito. So, ito na yung mga set of news. So, 1 hour ago. So, global yields cling to multi-week peaks on US-Iran threat. So, this one, sterling today. Itong sterling, guys, this is a GBP. Sterling pound. So, when you read the word sterling today, or sterling pound, this refers to GBP. So, pag i-open ko to, no? So, open nyo na article. CTC, USD JPY up, if topic stock index rise to 4.5. So, ito yung mga news, guys. So, 4 hour ago. So, usually, dito, guys, every morning ako nagbabasa dito, like, ano ba yung nangyayari right now? And of course, guys, ganito. Di ba, sobrang daming news, madaming news. Basahin nyo lang yung news kung saan yung currency na tinitrade mo. Hindi entirely like, babasahin mo din yung news about sa Canada. Pero yung trade mo pala, gold. So, wag mo na pansinin yung ibang news if hindi naman related sa currency na tinitrade mo. So, 21 hours ago, so Canadian dollar gain, nag-pump ang dollar due to oil price sa Iran tensions. No, so, so, dito guys, so dollar firm as safe haven, demand rises amid escalating Middle East tension. So, for example, sa open natin article, this one. So, Starlink, today, pound firm as gold price lift dollar oil. So, ito na yung ending. Usually guys, ang gagawin nyo lang dito guys, to make things easier for you, pwede nyo itong i-copy actually. Let's say, copy nyo siya. Tapos, gamitin nyo guys, ChatGPT. Gumagamitan nyo ChatGPT to make things easier. Instead of understanding one by one yung every sentence, since we are now in a ChatGPT era, pwede nyo gamitin, simplify this one, what it's telling me. Is this bullish for the forex? Is this bearish? So, pwede ganun lang. So, yun yung ginagawa ko. So, kumbaga, instead of, like, understanding talaga, sentence per sentence, Let's use ChatGPT right away. Sa ano sir, pag sa Harvey, pag XAUSD, focus ka lang sir sa US dollar. Enough na po yun. So, ano yung graph right now sa USD? And at the same time, sir, sa geopolitics, kasi it affects gold. So, weak ba si gold? Ano ba siya? And at the same time, sa risk on and risk off. No? So, ganyan siya. So, this one guys, dito sa investing.com, magbasa na kayo dito. Again, basahin nyo yung news na ititrade nyo. So, for example, wait lang. Loading pa rin si TradingView. Kasi guys, ang kinaganda sa doon sa tawag dito, yung sa DXY guys, sa part, aside sa data kanina, meron sa actual chart, so pwede itong yung tignan. So, if available yung nyo right now sa TradingView, type mo yung DXY. So, for example, meron yung chart dyan. For example, ganyan yung chart. So, pag bullish si Jeep, so for example, gusto mo mag-trade kay gold. Pagtingin mo sa DXY, let's say ganyan, nag-pump. Let's say you do your normal technical analysis. Let's say sabihin natin na based sa DXY, sabihin na pinaka-basic lang, may potential area to sell. Sa area na to potential sell. So, mean to say, DXY will subject to go down. So, simply means, if yung DXY is subject to go down, yung forward thinking mo is, buy opportunity kay gold. Look for buyer. Bakit niya mag-buy kay gold again? Kasi based sa technical analysis mo kay DXY, there's a possibility na babagsak yung DXY. And since opposite yung DXY tsaka si gold, look for buy opportunity kay gold. So, ganun yung analysis mo. So, yung idea naman is ganito. Like, for example, ito yung chart ng DXY. So, let's say, yung right now ng DXY is, let's say, bumagsak si DXY. So, based sa technical perspective mo, there's a higher tendency na si DXY aakyat. So, if that will be the case, forward thinking isip mo, since si DXY is subject to go up, pag pumunta ka kay gold, look for selling opportunity. Opposite sila. So, yan yung ginagawa ko sometimes. So, it makes it easier for me to assess ano yung magiging trade ko kay gold. So, tititingnan ko si DXY, ano yung magiging performance niya, then do opposite sa gold. So, ganyan siya, no? Or pwede din naman, kasi ang guys, pag tinignan naman yung chart, at least alam mo yung pinaka-current chart niya ni DXY. Aside from dito doon sa pinakita natin kanina, na yung data lang, this one, itong data na dito sa gilid. 'Di ba? So, this one right here. Instead na mag-rely ka dito lang alone, type mo sa TradingView doon sa search box yung may yung mga pair ba. Type mo DXY. Tapos enter mo siya. Mag-appear yung DXY na chart. So you can do a normal technical analysis sa DXY tapos do the opposite doon sa gold. So again, the thinking is if you think that the DXY is going up, for example, normal chart ng DXY. Again, ulitin ko. Okay, sorry. So, if yung normal ni DXY is, let's say, may potential na babagsak siya, then kay gold, bullish. If may potential si DXY to go up, bearish gold. Ganyan lang. So, again, everyone, so far guys, this is the last slide sa discussion natin sa right now for tonight. No, actually, so, question, ito na guys, conclusion. No? So, again, dito na sa conclusion. So, intermarket analysis provides a holistic view sa forex market by identifying influences various asset classes on currency movements by understanding correlations, global risk sentiment, economic fundamental across asset classes. Tayo as a forex trader daw, magiging tayo ng broader and more nuanced perspective to inform our trades. No? So, our technical analysis is particularly powerful when combined with technical indicator and fundamental data. So, by simply understanding this one, everyone, mas naging broader yung approach mo. Maging selective ka. And mas, kumbaga, meron kang information. Kasi that's one thing na lacking sa atin before, right? So, if you understand this and you observe the idea, it makes things easier for you. Of course, trading is not easy at all, but again, you have clarity now. Yun yung pinaka-important. So, questions, clarification, everyone. Type 1 if naiintindihan. So, for a discussion tonight sa intermarket analysis. Kasi, yun guys, this is our last slide. So, recorded to guys, by the way, yung part 3 kanina, 3 p.m. na class. Tapos this one, I will PM this to you directly kasi si Coach A, hindi niya ma-upload sa Discord pa sa YouTube niya. So, directly ko lang i-send PM sa inyo. So, ayun lang, Sir Harvey, Sir Jan. Sentiments, sir, sentiment. So, we'll discuss more sa sentiment na part. So, ito intermarket. So, next is sentiment. So, ayun lang. Thank you so much, Sir Harvey and Sir Jan. And I hope you learned something tonight. See you tomorrow. And let me know, guys, if you have questions, clarification, you can ask me sa PM, sa Discord. Thank you, guys, and God bless and good night. So, God bless everybody. Thank you, thank you.